Is talent real or is concept artist a 100% practice thing?
I'll have to break hearts a little bit. Video games, right? And video games have restrictions of their own. And if you do not know or are aware of those restrictions, like you have camera angles.
So today in this episode we gonna be dealing with character concept. Today we have a very special guest, Asra Muskan.
Hello. Hi. Nothing much. I'm really just a concept artist. I worked in art outsourcing studios. I've done freelancing. I also teach concept art right now. And for the most part, most of my art has always been related to video games. It's nice to meet you all, and hopefully I can answer some questions that will be useful for anybody interested in the industry. You can also share like my art station
Yep.
and get like an idea of what type of work I've done.
So she's a concept artist and like she's doing concept art for over like more than 10 years. And
It has been exactly actually 7 years.
so even we will be dealing some of the questions related to when you're just starting out or you just want to become and you're stuck what to start, what to learn, where to practice, which softwares or which fundamentals to study and all. So the first section of this video will be dealing with that. If someone has zero drawing skills, can they still become a game concept artist?
I definitely do think it's possible. From what I really know about art, I do think like surprisingly even 2D is a lot more technical. You can definitely think of it like geometry. You can basically simplify everything, and you can use perspective to make really complex shapes. And the whole logic is that if you see anything too complex, you just simplify it. And I mean, you're a 3D artist, you should already know that when you're starting off with a face, you always start off with just making a triangle for the nose, and then for the eyes you kind of just scoop semicircles out, right? And the logic is same. uh, I think definitely you can. It's just I would definitely still recommend some amount of experience, because I feel like if it were at least just an illustrative work, uh, it would be a bit different. Like in, I mean, but concept art it can get, it has to do with video games, right? And video games have restrictions of their own. And if you do not know or are aware of those restrictions, like you have camera angles, or you have to keep design detail in mind. Like if you consider like League of Legends, it's such a game where you have a top down, so you have to make sure that whatever you're designing looks good, especially in top down. And then you have to make sure that it's detailed enough that from the distance you can understand the design, but it's not so detailed that it's starting to feel noisy. So I would say if you're like zero drawing skills and you immediately want to get into concept art, that'll be hard. But I wouldn't worry too much as long as you're interested in improving yourself. And from what I've seen, I have confidently seen people able to get into a really good place just by 2 to 3 years of diligently practicing.
So before becoming a concept artist, you have to become an artist first.
Yeah.
So like what mistakes do beginners make that instantly show they are new?
I think like it's especially obvious in characters. Sometimes you can kind of cheat your way with like props and environments. But with characters, the thing that I've instantly been able to see if someone is a beginner or not is just by their having their anatomy be really stiff. And a lot of beginner artists who start off by doing anatomy, they kind of just look at it in like a 2D way. They kind of just think of, okay, if you're making like a torso, you have to make it like a rectangle and then it cinches at the waist. But uh, uh, we, as like someone with more experience, you should also probably know that it's a lot more. It has a form. It has some 3D depth and dynamic to it, right? And a lot of these beginner artists, they kind of make everything a little too flat and a little too stiff, especially anatomy wise. And I think that kind of just makes it very obvious for everyone that you're a beginner. And other than that, I do think like line quality is something that you need to work on. If your lines are too like scratchy, they're called chicken scratch lines. It's just like
Yes,
really
yes.
rough. Haha. That kind of like makes it very obvious. You need to basically be able to practice lines enough that you can make like these smooth flowy lines. I think these three things is what I would say is stuff that will make it obvious that you're a beginner.
So
Stiff
like how do
anatomy,
you uh-huh.
stiff anatomy, flat forms, and inexperienced lines.
Hmm. Like how do you think like a game artist instead of just an artist, normal artist?
I think like I think like yeah, this is generally definitely one of the more important things I have to teach as like a
Hmm.
concept artist mentor, because I I constantly have to say, especially in the beginning of a course, that you're not an illustrator, you're not an illustrator, you're a concept artist.
Hmm.
So like think of like any third person game, okay, like 3D game where you have to like move around an object, right? When you like Overwatch, okay, it has props, right? When you
Yes.
make any prop for Overwatch, you'll just have to make sure that it looks nice from all angles, right? But when you're making 2D illustrations, you really don't have to worry about it looking nice from the back. You kind of
Yes.
just have to make like a front view, and then you just have to make it really really polished, and that's it. Rendering, I mean, sorry, illustration is, it has a lot to do with polishing really pretty colors, really pretty rendering done, just a lot of crazy processing on illustrations. But as a game artist, unfortunately, your job as an illustrator will be so tiny. You'll get like 50 projects where you're working as a concept artist where you have to make like props, and then you'll get like 50 projects where you'll probably be involved in texturing, and then maybe some technical art related stuff will happen. Sometimes you will have like 2D artists who are working on 3D, and then 3D artists working on 2D. And genuinely, it's not illustrative at all. You really do have to think of it really from like a video games lens. Stuff goes in there. Stuff, every game has its own requirements. I gave the example of League of Legends already. You can also take the example of Hades, a billion other games that have their own criteria of camera angle, the polygon limits also. You should already also be aware. As a 2D, even if you're like a concept artist who's only doing 2D, like as a concept artist, you'll have to be considerate of what the 3D person in your team is going to be making, right? Like so many times you have to make like orthographic angles, and like an illustrator never has to make orthographic angles from like front side, back side, side view.
Yeah, correct. So, for this is the last question for this section. Is talent real or is concept artist 100% practice thing?
You're
This
asking
is a question
tough
that
questions now.
everyone wants to know.
I'll have to break hearts a little bit from
Hmm.
my perspective, okay?
Hmm.
There's good news and bad news.
Okay.
Uh, the good news is it's going to be 80% practice, okay? I have seen so many incredible concept artists, and the only reason why they're amazing is because they're all hardworking people who don't stop working hard, okay? And I do think like if you want to be a genuinely good concept artist, it doesn't matter if talent is real or not. If you're not hardworking, you're not gonna get anywhere. I've genuinely seen people literally kind of make sure like their life literally revolves around art for them to get better. And unfortunately, you want to be crazy good, you have to be a bit of a crazy artist. Now, about talent part, I I mean, like in my experience, what I've seen is I don't think I've seen somebody be naturally good at stuff. But what I have seen is that some people, compared to others, they understand stuff a little bit easier, and they're a bit faster at understanding or faster at adapting concepts. And I think talent in that regard definitely does exist, like people who are just capable of absorbing so much information like a sponge, and they can just like run with it. I've met people who I've just had to explain concepts like once or twice, and then they already understand, and they're like, okay, got it. And then they can already like take my idea, take the information I've given them, and then not only do they execute it, but then they can go one step further as well. And unfortunately, there do exist people who just are really, really good at absorbing information. I feel like talent like that exists. I mean, but I've also met people who don't use that, and they just get lazy and then don't practice. So what's the use then? If you're able to learn stuff quick, you're not gonna practice.
Yeah, so even if you have talent, let's say, तो practice तो करना ही पड़ेगा. Without practice, you
Huh.
cannot learn
I think
anything.
like I think I'm gonna say it this way. Okay,
Hmm.
you can have no talent, but
Hmm.
as long as you're hardworking, you'll be able to get in a good place. Okay, but if
Yes.
you're talented and you're not hardworking at all, I really don't see you going that far. I so like hardworking is definitely more important than talent.
So these were the things which we tackled in this episode. So in the next episode, we're gonna be dealing with industry insights. So thank you so much, Asra, for joining me.
Yes, you're welcome.
We'll share some more informative things in the later episodes. So stay tuned.
Hmm.
And if you're new to the channel, then hit the subscribe button and hit the like button. If you have any question or anything to share your experience on anything, feel free to comment down. So we'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye. Take care.
Bye bye.